Hello, my fellow MetaGrid users and those of you who haven't tried MetaGrid yet. My name is Paul, this is my studio based in Warsaw, Poland, and I'm trying to do two things in this very MetaGrid series. First is to make those of you who haven't tried MetaGrid go and try it, and for those of you who have actually tried MetaGrid, to make your MetaGrid experience more fluent, fuller, and simply better. But you know what? It's all about MetaGrid, but somehow it's also about me. The series is full of me and my experience with MetaGrid, and I thought with Przemek that would be good to fuel the series with others people experience, people who are great specialists and who do use MetaGrid. And our first shot was really obvious. There's a guy called Jacek Miłaszewski. He's a mixing and mastering engineer. He's also a tour sound engineer for many famous Polish musicians. He's into rock music mainly, but I think not only. And well, I believe I can say that he's just an amazing man. He graduated at SAE London to become an educational supervisor for SAE London. He worked with best of the best on Polish rock music scene. Many years ago, he set up a forum called Dźwięk.org, Sound.org, which was the best, absolutely the best place to get started in Poland for any studio works, and not only studio, just any sound works. And he's been developing his skills, his studio, his equipment setups for years. He's been sharing it for years, inspiring many people to develop their own skills and know-hows. And yeah, Jacek was the guy who showed me MetaGrid. He showed me many things, but this is what I remember most. And finally, I have a chance to tell him all that he inspired me, that I owe him a lot. And well, I can ask him about his setups, his workflows, and his MetaGrid usage. Let's go for it. Hello, Jacek. Good to see you.
Great to see you too.
Yeah, I know you. You know that I've known you for years as a person behind Dźwięk.org, the biggest Polish audio forum. Once upon a time, long time ago. So, but this is actually the first time I can talk to you.
The second time.
All right, yeah, that's the second time, because we were agreeing, yeah, we were setting the things up. And you actually are the man who showed me MetaGrid once. I remember that it was more than a year ago. I asked you, what's that on your picture, on your tablet? Because this is what I'm looking for a touch controller for my workplace. Do you remember that actually?
I do, and that was the first time I used MetaGrid was around 2 years ago. It was shortly after I switched DAW from Pro Tools to Reaper, and I was researching the possibilities of control surfaces for Reaper, because I used large control surfaces with Pro Tools, the command with 24 faders, Control 24 with 24 faders, many buttons on them, etc. Yukon controllers like Artist Mix, Artist Control, and those dedicated devices were really tightly and well integrated with the application with Pro Tools. And Reaper does not have that, does not have dedicated devices for Reaper. So it's very different in terms of how it interacts with hardware devices that control DAWs, and it turned out to be that Reaper is very flexible. So you don't actually need a factory integrated device to make it work with Reaper. Every action in Reaper can be triggered by a key command or MIDI command or OSC command. During that research, I purchased a small panel with buttons that was Elgato Stream Deck. which at the time could only send key commands, keystrokes, and did not send neither MIDI commands or OSC commands, which turned out to be a problem because Reaper was accepting keystrokes differently with the respect of what window was in focus on the screen. So, you know, if I had the mixer on as my main window on the screen, you know, the focused window, or whatever you call it, like when it's the window on top, some of the keystrokes wouldn't work. And then I started researching if there was an application that could basically be a grid of buttons on an iPad, which would serve as a MIDI controller to control those actions in Reaper. And this is how I finally came across MetaGrid. And I didn't even know that it was a Polish application at the time. I just purchased it because I saw a video online and it looked fantastic, so I didn't even have any doubts that I would be using it. And I got it, and then I looked. Oh, there was a Polish name in the developer section in the App Store, but I only saw that after actually I got the application. And then actually it turned out to be that the guy was from my town. So
you're both from the city of Wrocław, actually, but you did not know each other, right? No. No way. Okay, happens. Lots of audio people are out there in Wrocław, I know, and I know also that you don't know each other, which is kind of, I don't know, funny for me, maybe. But okay, Jacek, anyway, you're the man that does not need to be asked questions. You just talk things, and I like it a lot. I love it, because you already asked 2 questions that I prepared. How did you get to know about MetaGrid, and why did you decide to use it? What were your particular needs? And well, I actually know what were your needs, and how did you start using it? Tell me, is there anything else than Reaper you're using your MetaGrids for?
No, I think I tried using it with other applications, and by default MetaGrid follows the focused application on your computer, but I actually use this function that allows you to lock MetaGrid with a specific application. So at the top of the screen, you just double click on an application name, which is Reaper in my case, and it stays as a Reaper controller all the time. So it's basically MetaGrid is my dedicated Reaper control surface, and I know it has probably some great features, but I didn't research its other uses yet.
I have to tell you that more than half of my applications I'm using here, I'm PC Windows based, not Mac OS, and but it's very, very stable. I mean, nothing like happens, nothing crashes, everything works, and MetaGrid, really, I went insane for MetaGrid like a year ago. When I realized what it can do for me, I went to buy a second iPad right away, because I remember I had a lot of work and I was always short of time, all the time. And MetaGrid helped me actually to solve this problem. I became insane fast with MetaGrid. That's why I'm asking, because I'm not locking my screen. I'm just switching between apps. Like, I have my grid for OBS, I have my grid for Resolve, I have my grid for Windows Explorer even, I have my grid for Chrome browser, etc., etc. So that's why I'm asking, because I know people are using them for many reasons and for many apps. You could try once, but I don't insist, of course.
I will, actually. I have to admit that I recently, realized, because I'm actually, a lazy person, and I don't spend time on improving things that could eventually, in the long term, improve my life, improve my workflow, and this is a mistake. So I should be researching those capabilities better.
All right. But this is very interesting. When I see you, well, mainly on social media, you talking about your stuff, which has been, and I never told you that. I think there are many people like me who learned through what you say for years. You were the very first person, like remote on this forum, that was saying things that I found useful in my own very first works. And when I see what you do until very today, you experiment with your setups all the time. This is my impression. And this is very, very inspiring. You've got lots of rig, lots of controllers, and you change them. This is what I believe, this is what I see, that you change them a lot. Isn't it true?
That's
somehow?
Correct, yes. Eventually it makes me more efficient because, of course, I'm looking to ways to improve my workflow, but this research is, in my case, very often some sort of a hobby, I like to, so it just gives me pleasure to bring myself into this chaotic kind of thing in order to, try to, come up with some new ideas. And if I come up with something, I usually share it with people. So this is why you probably found, some of the things I posted, helpful, because, I sometimes I discover something and I feel the need to tell, everyone, listen guys, this is great, and, try that.
Yeah, I get it. I think I've got the same feature in myself.
Yeah. This is how I see you as well.
Yeah, but this is not that expanded. Like it's a modest need to experiment with my setup because I'm always extremely short of time. I'm extremely busy. I don't consider myself a workaholic. Fortunately, I think I'm not. But still, I'm finding the ways to limit my work time. This is the main feature of my touch screens, of everything, because I'm going to invest a couple of hours and I'm going to get many dozens of hours back simply. And actually, I'm having pictures of your grids here. I would like to take a look into them, if you don't mind, because you sent me some pictures from your iPad. I know that your iPad cannot really send any print screens, right?
Yeah, these pictures are from actually. It's an old version of MetaGrid, so it's not the most recent one. It's still the last MetaGrid version that could work on iPad 2, which is already 10 years old or something like that. So this is an iPad that is just too slow to any modern applications, but one application that actually works really well on that iPad and is very responsive is actually MetaGrid. I had to revert to using this old iPad because I have two other iPads, newer ones, which were taken over by my children, for playing games. And this is actually, a real problem here in my case, because I wanted to have a dedicated device that would always stay on my desk, but when I started fighting with my children, to have the iPad actually here all the time, I had to revert to the old one.
Sure. You, of course, family needs are like above anything else, so no discussion about that. If your kids need iPads, you're not gonna win this one probably, right?